Hello everyone, welcome to another video of TT Passion. My name is Vincent and today I'm going to share with you my comparison of the DHS Hurricane Long 5 commercial version and also its national version, the W968. So these two blades actually has some differences between the two, and of course if you look at the price tag, there is also a wide difference between these two blades. So why is there a difference? Let's find out in this video. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the physical appearance differences in terms of the box design and the blade. How do you differentiate between a commercial Long 5 and a national version Long 5? Okay, besides that, we will also be doing a bounce test and also look at the dimension and the weight of this blade. At the end of this video, I will also share with you my conclusion of the two blades. Whether is it actually worth it to buy a W968 Hurricane Long 5 based on my personal experience after trying out both the blades. So let us first start off by looking at the box design first. So this is the Hurricane Long 5 commercial version and this is the national version. So if you look at it, they are actually identical at the front, okay, and I will go straight to where is different over here. So if you were to look at the bottom of the blade, the box, okay, you can see that the national version, okay, is actually has an additional sticker. Okay, so on this label you will see the batch number of this national version, the weight, the thickness of the blade, the date of manufacture, and also who is this blade made for. Okay, so you will see Ma Long name at the bottom. Okay, so that's one of the main difference between the two box design. The commercial version, all you see is just a Hurricane Long 5 label over here, and you don't quite really see any other stickers placed on it. So there is also a difference on this sticker between the two boxes. So if you were to look carefully, all it says in Mandarin is Hurricane Long 5 ALC and FL handle. Okay, I'm going to show you the W968 version over here. Okay, so you can see it says Hurricane Long 5 bracket 968 ALC and FL handle. So there's a difference that you can tell from the box alone. Okay, so next let us look at the blade physical appearance differences. We will start off with the commercial version Long 5 first. Okay, so this is the commercial version. Basically, if you have the first glance, there's no difference between the two blades. But how do you actually differentiate which is the commercial version and which is the national version? You can simply just look at the side of the handle. Okay, there's a serial number that is printed or rather engraved onto the blade. Okay, let me try to focus it. Okay, so you can see that it says HL5 followed by some alphabet and what series is it. So I'm lucky enough to be able to find a series number 1. Okay, so there are many series number that is available in the market, but most people would actually think that there's a very minor difference in terms of the batch number. If the series number is smaller, it's supposed to be better, or rather I think it's just a myth. It could be just a novelty to have one of the earlier series that is made during that batch. Okay, so this is the normal commercial version. So in terms of the W968, the national version, what is different? Okay, let's take a look. So like I said, how do you actually identify? You need to look at the side of the handle. Okay, so this is the W968 version, and let's take a look at what's engraved at the side. Okay, so it says W968, and instead of HL5, which is on the commercial version, you will see W968 followed by the date of manufacture, and also the last digit here is the series. Okay, so for W968, okay, the series number plays a part in terms of the pricing of the blade itself. From my research, based on what I can find online, a series number 1 blade will cost you more than $1,000 Singapore dollar. Okay, that's really expensive, and that is why I do not have that kind of money to get the series number 1 blade. I'm lucky enough to get the series number 7 over here, okay, at a decent price. Okay, so I'm very lucky to get this at a decent price. I really feel that it's a good price, and I got this just before Ma Long won the Tokyo 2020 Olympics men's singles gold medal, and immediately after he won the match, the price of this W968 spiked. Okay, and I was lucky to get it before he won the Olympics in 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Okay, so that's the main physical differences between the box and the blade itself. Okay, of course, like I mentioned, there's some differences in terms of its dimension. We will come to that later on. So now, since I have already got the two blades with me, let's do a bounce test to see if there is any difference in terms of the sound when the ball strikes the blade. Okay, so let's start off with the commercial version first. National version. If you ask me, I honestly think that the two sounds very similar. Okay, so I'm going to try it again to try to see if there's any difference. So if you are watching this video, do share in the comments section below if you hear any difference between the two blades. Commercial version, okay. Okay, so in terms of this vibration, definitely the two blades feels very similar. In terms of the sound, it also sounds very similar to me. So I'm not too sure if you hear anything different. If you do, please share in the comment section below. We welcome a discussion between the two blades. And of course, in terms of gameplay and usage, I would say despite the sound quality are very similar, the vibration properties are very similar, the gameplay is different. I will share with you that during the conclusion. Okay, next we will move on to measuring the weight of the two blades that I have here. Of course, when you purchase the blade, you can choose a weight of your the weight that you prefer. All right, so let's start off with measuring. I have a scale here. We will start off with measuring the commercial version first. Okay, so the commercial version I have here is 89.6 gram. 89.6 gram. Okay, and let's see the W968. Slightly heavier. This is at 90.8 grams. Okay, so the one that is the commercial version is about 1 gram lighter. Okay, so there shouldn't be a big difference, but when I use them, I do feel that the weight does not really play a part, but the impact of the ball, the power of the ball is very different. Okay, so next we will take a look at the measurement. Okay, so there is a difference between the measurement here. Okay, let's take a look at the measurement of the commercial Hurricane Long 5 first. We will look at the length of the surface first. Okay. Okay, based on my measurement over here, let me turn it around so that you can actually take a look. Okay, based on my measurement here, it is at almost 159 millimeters. Okay, 159 millimeters. Let's take a look at the W968. Okay, so the W968, the length is actually 160 millimeters. Okay, about 1 to 2 millimeters more. Okay, I would say that it is closer to 161 millimeters. That's because the caliper I have here, the maximum length is 160. But if I were to look very closely, okay, there is about a 1 mm gap that I'm trying to fill. Okay, so I would say it's closer to 161 millimeters between the two blades. Okay, in terms of the length. So for the commercial version, let's take a look at the width of the blade. Okay, the width of the blade. Okay, so for the width of the blade, for the commercial version long 5 is 149.5 millimeters. Okay, let's take a look at the width for the W968. Okay. For W968, the width is 150.5 millimeters. So it's 1 millimeters more in terms of the, I would say in terms of the width of the blade between the two. So in terms of surface of the blade, W968 is larger. Okay, how about the handle? Okay, let's check out the handle. So both of the blade I have here is FL handle. So we will take a look at its the width. Okay, the width of the handle first at the mid portion. Alright, so the width of this is the W968. Okay, W968 width of the handle is 26.3 millimeters at the middle portion. Okay, how about the commercial version? Okay, commercial version seems like a bit smaller at the middle. Okay, it is at 25.8 millimeters for the commercial version. So the handle in terms of the grip is going to be slightly smaller for the commercial version. Let's take a look at the thickness. Okay, thickness of the W968. At the middle portion as well, let's take a look at the middle portion. That's where we usually have most of our grip on. Okay, so the middle portion, the thickness is at 24 millimeters for the W968. How about the commercial version? Okay, commercial version, again, it feels a bit more slim. Okay, this looks like it's only 22.2 millimeters. Okay, that's significantly smaller. Okay, and lastly, in terms of measurement, we will take a look at the thickness of the blade. Okay, now let's take a look at the W968 thickness. Okay, W968 thickness that I have here is at 5.7 millimeters. 5.7 millimeters. And let's take a look at the commercial version. Oh, interesting. Okay, the commercial version is at 5.8 millimeters. Okay, so wow, so it's a bit thicker than the W968 version. Let's take a look again. No, so now again W968 5.8 millimeters. Let's double check again because it's interesting that was different just now. Okay, it seems like both blade that I have here is at 5.8 millimeters. So as you can see, the core, the middle of the blade, okay, the middle, okay, both blades are actually the same, 5.8 millimeters. But when it comes to the handle, the W968 actually have a bigger grip. Okay, so for myself, I consider my hand quite fleshy to hold something that is of a smaller grip like the commercial version long 5 as compared to the W968. I would feel that the W968 fit better in my hand. So if depending on your hand size, okay, you may have a different preference in terms of the two blade. Okay, so lastly, this is where I would share with you my thoughts about the two blade. And one of the questions that you may have in mind is it actually worth it for me to invest in the W968, the national version, or should I just use a commercial Long 5, okay, that is easily available in the market at a pretty decent price? Okay, my thoughts, okay, I have started using the W968 first before I actually decided to buy a commercial version Long 5. It's quite different from what most users would do. Most users would actually use the commercial version first and decided to do an upgrade and get the W968. But for me, I actually have a friend that has a commercial version Long 5, so I actually did some I actually borrowed his blade just for a while to try it out, and I thought, hey, it felt nice. And as I was searching for the Long 5, I came across the W968, and this is where I thought the price was quite decent, okay, for the national version. After comparing a few shops, I find that this shop is selling it at a very decent price, and it was an attractive price, I would say. So I decided to get the W968 and started using it. Okay, after using it for about a month, I can share with you there's definitely a difference between the W968 national version and the commercial version. Okay, so what's different here? First of all, the power of the blade. Okay, the power of the blade. The amount of power the national version blade can generate is surprisingly higher than the commercial Long 5. Okay, based on my personal usage for about 1 month, I can feel that when you do a forehand drive, if you are not careful enough, okay, and if you are doing an upgrade between a Long 5 to a W968, you will find it hard to adjust at the start, because the power that the W968 generates is much higher. Okay, so when you do a forehand drive or a backhand drive, okay, you are actually going to use lesser effort in order to generate the same power a commercial Long 5 can generate. So you do not have to use a lot of physical strength to create that power, because this blade itself does that for you. Okay, and in terms of the Long 5, I'm not saying this is not a good blade. It is still a very, very good blade at its price. Okay, and for the power that the ALC and the wood combine that it generates, I think is excellent. Okay, but if you are a player that is I would say intermediate and above, or I would recommend to use the W968 if you are an advanced player. Okay, because of the power this blade actually packs, it's not easy to control the type of ball that you are going to generate. Okay, for my forehand, I would say that I have a pretty decent forehand, so it works fantastic for me when I'm trying to do a forehand drive. But in terms of backhand, as my backhand is not so powerful like I mentioned in some of the other videos, I find that I can create that powerful shot, but in terms of control, I tend to strike the ball out of the table. Okay, because I do not have excellent control in my backhand. But if you are an advanced player or somewhere in between intermediate or advanced, I think you will have no issue trying to control this blade, and this blade will actually fits you perfectly. If you are someone that is between beginner to intermediate or slightly above intermediate, I would say that a Long 5 would be great for you. So is it worth it to get a W968? I would say it depends on the price point that you are actually able to get. So it really depends. If you want a piece of the national version W968 for collection, I think that's fine. If you want to use it for actual gameplay, of course, like I mentioned, if you are between intermediate to advanced, you may definitely consider it, because it will really improve your gameplay by a lot. But if you are not there yet, perhaps you should try out the Long 5 first. When you have improved enough, consider an upgrade, because that will really bring your game up to the next level. Okay, so that sums up my conclusion for these two blades. I hope it has given you some valuable information to consider in terms of the two blades if you are intending to buy one or try one of these blades. And thank you for watching this video today. And if you like my video, please remember to hit like, share and subscribe for more awesome video content. So see you in the next video. Cheers!